Hello, everyone. My name is Adez Atterson. I am the president, Adez Atterson's Family Club. Welcome to my channel. Today, we are going to be looking at the first chapter in our book discussion titled Gentle Measures in the Training and Management of the Young by Jacob Abbott. The first chapter deals with the three modes of management. This chapter sets the foundation for everything that follows. So let's get into the heart of it. The central idea in this chapter is that there are three distinct ways parents typically try to manage their children. So we're going to look at each one of them and contrast it to see how effective they are. Okay? So the first one is maneuvering and artifice. This first mode of management is where parents use tricks, distractions, or subtle manipulations to get children to comply, like hiding instructions, avoiding direct requests, and using clever loopholes. And a good example is when you want to go out, you don't want your child to follow, you then say something like, I'm going to the doctor, or there's police outside. Okay? Instead of just telling the child family, you're not going with me, you try to maneuver the situation. The thing with this method is that it might work short term, and it does work short term, but it doesn't build real obedience or understanding. And worst of all, it causes mistrust. It starts to sow a seed of distrust in the heart of the child, which is very terrible because it will then affect the safety sense that the child has about the parents. The second one is reason and affection. I find that many parents are also in this basket because of the idea that, children should be treated as individuals and all the ideologies that are flying about. And many of us then lean towards this method where we try to explain things to a child, reason why they should obey. We appeal to their love and empathy. Abbott acknowledges that this is a kinder way of managing children when compared to manipulation. But he also points out that the children's reasoning capacity is not fully developed. So you're expecting too much from a child when you are explaining the reasons for them to obey you. So at the end of the day, they are going to tilt towards what they want. The ability to think ahead, weigh consequences, or deeply internalize reasons is still growing and will continue to grow according to science, even up to their 21st year. So at this point, the parents cannot depend on a child's reasoning to get them to obey. If you do that, you will get disappointed because you would have poured in all these emotional explanations, appealing to their sympathy, and they will do the contrary. They will want to do the contrary. The third one is authority. In this book, Abbott states clearly and continues to repeat that this is the only reliable bedrock for management of kids or children. But he also clarifies that authority does not mean anger, dominance, or force. Instead, it means clear, consistent leadership combined with calm guidance. Gentle measures are tools that support authority. They don't replace it. So it helps the parent establish and maintain parental authority in a way that fosters a child's trust and moral development. Remember that I've already mentioned this issue of trust. A child needs to be able to trust and rely on the parents. And the authority you bring into the relationship, creating boundaries, is very important to help that child develop that trust. So the key idea here is that we're not rejecting authority or being weak. We just have to apply it in a way that it's firm and gentle enough to respect the child's inner life while guiding them. Now, I want us to reflect. Let's take 2 minutes, 3 minutes to think about our parenting style. This is not a time to judge yourself or start belittling yourself. It's a time to just look at the process you have been using to train your children. Have you been leaning much into maneuvering or using distractions? Or have you been leaning much into over-explaining and trying to get a child to reason with you in order to get them to obey you? Or have you been applying authority, being consistent in expecting behaviors from your children, not domineering with power, not shouting? Take the time to evaluate. If possible, give percentage to each one of them. You can say, okay, I do 50% maneuvering, 20% explaining, and 10% authority. That is a good place to start. Now you know where you are. Now you have to figure out how you will start to work with your children to reduce the percentage of maneuvering and explanation and reasoning in your parenting style until you come to a place of almost eliminating it in this management style that you apply for training your child. Now, if you want to bring this thing to modern day parenting, because this is an old book and sometimes people will start to argue that, oh, it doesn't apply, but it's applied. Because now most parents are over-focused on making parenting fun, making the home fun, making the children comfortable, making them happy, removing and eliminating boredom from the home. But in as much as that is a good thing to want to be, it is not the only thing you should be doing. And then some other parents don't tilt more to disciplinarians. Everything is about time, and punctuality, focus, duty. Excess of that is also not good. So what do you need to do? You need to set clear limits. That's where authority comes. Avoid bribes, sneaky tricks, or only reasoning every time you have to get your child to do something. You then have to do the inner work of responding calmly when a boundary is crossed, which is the greatest challenge that we have because it requires a lot of patience. So this time around, when you go into the new month, try a different approach, okay? For example, instead of telling the child, if you don't behave, I won't read a story for you, change it and say, when you finish your task calmly, we will read together. If that child goes ahead and finishes the task calmly, then you read. If they don't, they might take 20 minutes or 30 minutes or 1 hour, go around, do other things, not doing the task, and later come to you to read that story. Don't attend to them. Remind them of what you told them earlier, that they were supposed to do a task, and when they've done it calmly, they will then come for you to read that story. And you just stay consistent. I think that is the greatest secret to achieving authority in your parenting. Be patient and be consistent. Over time, the message will be passed on. The child will understand that no matter how long it takes, mommy or daddy is going to do what they said they will do. Don't allow the child to wear you out. Okay? So we are going to take 4 practical things we can apply this month. Number 1, choose one clear expectation for the day so that you don't wear yourself out. So it can just be pack your toys before you sleep. Stay only on that and get that done every day for the next 1 month, okay? Or 1 week or 2 weeks, however you see that is more convenient and flexible for you. Remember, you state it once calmly and you go and leave the matter alone. But then continue to insist that what you have said is done and continue to apply the consequence until the thing is done. The second thing you need to do is to pair it with a simple, consistent outcome. One of the things that children have challenge with is when a parent is inconsistent. So if you continue to show that good behavior gets acknowledgement and you continue to show that disobedience gets a consequence, gradually the child will get the message. So you must be predictable. They should be able to tell what is the outcome of my behavior. That helps them build self-restraint. That helps them take responsibility and so many other foundational things that are going on in this simple act of predictability of outcome. Okay? This third one, is explain briefly but clearly. No long sentences, no too much emotionalization. Don't try to buy into their reasoning or their empathy. If the explanation will aid them to obey, provide it. We're not saying don't explain, but keep it brief and keep it clear. And if possible, I recommend that you have them repeat what you have said. Since it is brief and clear, they should be able to give it back to you so that both of you are clear that you're on the same page. And the last but the hardest is to stay calm. I've mentioned this already. Gentle measures can be very, very frustrating because it requires that you stay out of the space of the child and allow them to experience what life will definitely give them as they grow up, which is every action has a consequence, whether it is a good or a bad consequence. All right, promise to keep it short. So now we are going to wrap up. The goal for this month is to reduce trickery, maneuvering, manipulation, and over-explaining to the barest minimum while growing your capacity to be firm, calm in your authority, supported by gentle measures. When you do that, over time, consistently, you will build respect, trust, and compassion in your children. This is all for me for today. I hope you find this helpful. Drop your questions in the comment section, share the link, give me your feedback, and let's go and do better because the outcome is going to be very rewarding. Until next time, when we'll be looking at chapter 2, which talks about what are gentle measures, it is still Adeze Atterson, the president at the Atterson Family Club. And if you have interest or you're curious about the club, you can look us up on Instagram, and I'm going to drop the WhatsApp link in the comment section so that you can join us if you choose to. Thank you.